Namaskar and welcome to Express News with me Deepika, your window to quick and crisp 100 updates from across the country and the world. Let's begin. Trinamool Congress MP Shantanu Sen has been suspended from the Rajya Sabha for the remaining period of the monsoon session of Parliament. The motion was moved by the government, which was approved by the House. Sen had snatched papers from Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw before tearing them as the minister was about to make a statement on the alleged snooping row using Israeli spyware Pegasus. Rajya Sabha Chairman Venkaiah Naidu termed the snatching of papers from Ashwini Vaishnaw as undemocratic. He said that unfortunately proceedings of the House hit a new low, with papers being snatched from the minister and torn into pieces. Continuous uproar was witnessed in the parliament amid ruckus by the opposition. Both the houses were adjourned till Monday. Rajya Sabha proceedings were disrupted repeatedly amid uproar by the Trinamool Congress MPs over suspension of Shantanu Sen. Rajya Sabha proceedings were first adjourned till noon and then till 12:30 p.m. Later, Rajya Sabha was adjourned till 2:30 p.m. following opposition protest on Pegasus snooping and other issues, and finally till Monday. Ashwini Vaishnaw has condemned TMC MP's behavior in the House. He said that TMC has a history of creating violence in West Bengal and now they are trying to bring that to Parliament as well. Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare Mansukh Mandaviya has urged leaders not to do politics over vaccine. He asserted that it must be our collective endeavour to ensure that all those above the age of 18 are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Minister of Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur slammed the opposition for not letting discussion to take place in the House and creating ruckus instead. He reiterated that the government is ready for discussion on all the issues. BJP MP Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore today said if Rahul Gandhi thinks his phone is being tapped, he should submit his phone to the competent agencies so that action is taken as per the IPC. He added that no phone or any gadget is being recorded illegally, and if someone feels so, they should seek help of the agencies for action as per the law of the land. The leader of the opposition in the West Bengal Assembly, SUVENDU Adhikari, today met Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Speaking with the media after meeting, SUVENDU Adhikari said that he informed the Home Minister regarding the post-poll violence in West Bengal. National Broadcasting Day is being observed today. On this day in 1927, the first ever radio broadcast in the country went on air from the Bombay station under the Indian Broadcasting Company. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Thakur has extended greetings on National Broadcasting Day. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "Effective communication is an enabler and empowers citizens," unquote. In Jammu, a drone fitted with IED was recovered in Kanachak area today about 100 hours midnight. According to sources on receipt of information, police recovered a drone and a packet lying at village in Gura Patan sector from Jammu AKHNOOR highway. At least 2 terrorists were neutralized in an encounter in Sopore district. Arms and ammunition recovered from the encounter site. India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 42 crores landmark yesterday. Cumulatively, 42 crore 34 lakh 17,030 vaccine doses have been administered through 51 lakh 94,364 sessions till 7 a.m. today. 54 lakh 76,423 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. 3 crore 4 lakh 68,079 people have already recovered from COVID-19 and 38,740 patients have recovered in the last 24 hours. This constitutes an overall recovery rate of 97.36%. India has reported 35,342 daily new cases in the last 24 hours. Less than 50,000 daily new cases have been reported since 26 continuous days. India's active caseload today stands at 4,05,513 and active cases now constitute 1.30% of the country's total positive cases. With substantially ramped up testing capacity across the country, a total of 16,68,561 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours across the country. Cumulatively, India has conducted over 45.29 crore tests so far. Weekly positivity rate is currently at 2.14% and the daily positivity rate stands at 2.12% today. Daily positivity rate has remained less than 3% for 32 consecutive days and has remained below 5% for 46 consecutive days now. In Maharashtra, incessant rains over the past few days have affected several parts of the state, with 3 districts in the state inundated and 2 districts facing a flood-like situation. RAIGAD District Collector Nidhi Chaudhary said that 32 people were killed and 30 others were injured in a landslide at Talai village of Mahat Taluka of RAIGAD district yesterday. CM Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray spoke to the RAIGAD District Collector about the flood situation in Mahat. Evacuation operations by the rescue teams using helicopters are underway. In some more tragic news from Maharashtra, a ground plus 1-story residential structure collapsed, killing 4 people in Govandi area of Mumbai. 11 others have been injured in the building collapse. The 30-share Sensex today rose by 138 points to close at 52,975.80. Nifty 50 also surged 32 points to end at 15,856.05. Gold prices on Friday fell by 204 rupees on MCX to close at 47,426 rupees per 10 gram. Silver also fell by 329 rupees on MCX to end at 67,045 rupees per kilogram. The Indian rupee today settled 6 paise higher at 74.40 against the US dollar. Global oil benchmark Brent crude futures fell 0.05% to USD 73.75 per barrel. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas has released the monthly production report for June 2021. The ministry said that the crude oil production during June 2021 was 2,481.66 TMT, which is 2.26% lower than target for the month and 1.79% lower when compared with production of June 2020. The ministry also said that the natural gas production during June 2021 was 2,777.43 MMSCM, which is 19.52% higher when compared with production of June 2020. Cumulative natural gas production during April-June 2021 was 8,168.56 MMSCM, which is 20.39% higher than production during corresponding period of last year. Reserve Bank of India is planning to launch central bank digital currency in the near future. Deputy Governor T. Ravi Shankar said RBI is currently working towards a phased implementation strategy and examining use cases which could be implemented with little or no disruption. He said that high-level inter-ministerial committee constituted by Ministry of Finance in November 2017 to examine the policy and legal framework for regulation of virtual currencies had recommended the introduction of CBDC. The world continues to battle COVID-19 pandemic. More than 19 crore 34 lakh people have worldwide tested positive for coronavirus so far, while the number of recoveries stands above 17 crore 57 lakh. The deadly virus has claimed over 41 lakh 50,000 lives across the globe. The US continues to be worst affected by COVID-19. More than 3 crore 52 lakh people are infected by the virus and over 6 lakh 26,000 deaths have been reported in the US. According to US CDC, 7-day average of new cases in the US is up 53% over the previous week. The uptick in US cases is concentrated in regions of the country with lower vaccination rates. Missouri, Florida and Texas account for 40% of all new cases in the US. With COVID-19 cases rising in the United States, President Joe Biden said his administration would follow the signs. Biden emphasized that newer infections were affecting people who've not been vaccinated. The Italian government has announced that from August onwards, people will have to present proof of immunity to access an array of services and leisure activities. Italy has been looking to contain fresh surge in COVID-19 cases. The Green Pass is a digital paper certificate that shows if someone has received at least one jab, has tested negative or has recently recovered from COVID-19. The pass will be required to go to gyms, swimming pools, sports stadiums, museums, parks, casinos and cinemas. Eating in indoor restaurants also requires a pass. The cabinet has agreed that the schools should remain closed even for those with a green pass. Bangladesh has reimposed strict lockdown from 6 a.m. today. The restriction comes after an 8-day relaxation from 15th to 22nd of July in view of the festival of Eid ul-Azha. State Minister of Public Administration Farhad Hussain said that lockdown this time will be stricter than before. Police, border guard, Bangladesh and military will be deployed in the country for the enforcement of the restrictions. All offices and factories have been asked to remain closed. Africa will start receiving the first batch of 400 million doses of vaccines from Johnson & Johnson from next week. So far, only about 60 million doses have been administered among a total population of 1.3 billion on the 55 nations of Africa. G20 Climate, Environment and Energy Ministers kicked off a two-day meeting in Naples on Thursday, chaired by Italy. The G20 meeting discussed biodiversity and the natural environment on Thursday, while energy and climate energy is on the agenda today. Three main themes of the meeting include biodiversity and protection of oceans, promoting circular economies, particularly in the fashion and textile sectors, and realigning the financial system to promote sustainable development. Britain will host the next UN climate conference called COP26 in November in Glasgow, Scotland. With Germany already battling floods, country's National Weather Service has said that regions hit by the deadly floods last week could see more heavy rains this weekend. Across the country, a total of 177 people have been confirmed dead, while another 32 people were killed in neighboring Belgium. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has said that damage from the catastrophic floods was immense and it would take a long time to fix. Merkel has said that for immediate relief, the federal government will initially provide up to 200 million euros in emergency aid. Mass flooding leaves terrifying scenes in China's central Henan province, with tens of thousands of people being evacuated after being trapped at home for 3 days without electricity, water and food. The death toll from torrential rains that battered Henan province since last weekend has risen up to 33. Scientists have said that in China, built-up urban areas with inadequate water evacuation and large dams that modify the natural discharge of the Yellow River Basin may also have contributed to the disaster. Floods are wreaking havoc in Turkey as well. Village house collapsed and swept away in flood waters in northeast Black Sea province of Arhavi. One person was missing and more than 200 people were evacuated from flooded homes. In northwestern Ontario of Canada, more than 165 fires have been reported to be burning, which destroyed acres of forest. Dozens of new fires broke out early this week, setting a new record for the number of wildfires in the region. Ontario's authorities said most of the new fires had started due to lightning strikes. Heavy smoke was decreasing visibility and hampering the search for new fires. Russian northern region Karelia, neighboring Finland, has also been hit by heavy wildfires as 8.9 thousand hectares of forest have been reported burning. There are 30 active wildfires now in the region of Karelia. Neighboring Finland is experiencing the same stifling and persistent heat wave since the beginning of summer. 3.5 million hectares of forest have been destroyed by fire in Siberia, an area larger than Belgium. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told British Prime Minister Boris Johnson that the Northern Ireland Protocol was not up for negotiation. Following a phone call with Johnson, von der Leyen tweeted that the EU was prepared to be creative and flexible, but that the protocol itself must remain intact. In Haitians, many took the streets of Cap Haitien to protest President Jovenel Moise's assassination after a mass was held in his honor on Thursday. Protesters set tires on fire and closed roads to demand justice for Moise's death. The United States on Thursday imposed sanctions on Cuban Security Minister and an Interior Minister Special Forces unit for alleged human rights abuses in a crackdown on anti-government protests earlier this month. Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez, in a message on Twitter, however, rejected the sanctions as unfounded and slanderous and urged the United States to apply such measures to its own record of daily repression and policy brutality. Russia sent several infantry fighting vehicles to its military base in Tajikistan, close to the Afghan border. Russia will stage military drills from August 5th to 10th with Tajikistan and Uzbekistan at the Harb Maidan training ground near the border with Afghanistan, where the Taliban has led a lightning offensive against government troops. London Zoo's squirrel monkeys are marking the summer holidays by playing with colorful world flags in their South American-themed enclosure. The zoo's Bolivian black-capped squirrel monkeys were in playful mood as they lent a hand to put up mini flags within the enclosure, while Western lowland gorilla matriarch Mudruku inspected bigger versions of the flags in her Central Africa-inspired gorilla kingdom. Thousands of people poured into the grounds of the Latitude Music Festival in eastern England on Thursday, one of the biggest gatherings since most coronavirus restrictions were lifted earlier this week. The 4-day festival expected to attract around 40,000 people. Music lovers arriving on a balmy summer's day had to show they had been vaccinated twice or tested negative for the disease. The changing of the guard resumed at the Queen's official residence, Windsor Castle, on Thursday for the first time since the pandemic began. The ceremonial event represents the traditional handing over of responsibilities for officers guarding royal residences. Chinese artist and dissident Eun Bio-Wi unveiled a 505 feet high tropical tree made of iron in the Portuguese city of Porto, an artwork called Pequi Tree. The artist hopes that the artwork will raise awareness of the devastating consequences of deforestation. The exhibition also includes installations composed of iron tree roots, is taking place at Porto's Serralves Museum and Park and will be open to visitors until next year. French artist Gia created a mural art installation to impress passers-by in Rome this week by ripping a virtual hole through the French embassy in the capital. The Palazzo Farnese, longtime home for the diplomatic face of the French government in Italy, was constructed in the 16th century under the wishes of Cardinal Alessandro Farnese, who later became Pope Paul III. It stands in the beautiful, quiet Piazza Farnese in central Rome. Seeking to breathe new life into Madrid's Prado Museum after the long month of the pandemic, curators have overhauled the collection of display more works by female artists and better reflect the variety of 19th century. After recent acquisitions of paintings and miniatures, the museum now boasts works by 13 female painters out of a total of 130 artists. Crowdfunding, a global trend, has also been popular in Vietnam over the past few years. The film crew of Memento Mori is hoping to raise around $21,700 to complete its post-production stage. The project was well received by millions, but the crew had to work hard to maintain the project. It is one of the projects that has been successfully crowdfunded, having raised over $130,000. Blooming peach blossoms have lured flocks of tourists and helped the local embark on the path of wealth in Kala village in Nyangchi in Tibet Autonomous Region. With a total area of more than 109 hectares of peach trees, the place is also known as Peach Blossom Village. Since 2002, it has become a major tourist attraction for the Peach Blossom Festival in Nyangchi city. The much-anticipated 2020 Summer Games kicked off today with a grand opening ceremony at the National Stadium in Tokyo amid the shadow of COVID-19 pandemic. Six-time world champion, boxing champion MC Mary Kom and Manpreet Singh, the men's hockey team skipper, were India's flag bearer at the opening ceremony. India is being represented by 127 athletes in the games, with the overall contingent size being 228, including officials, coaches, other support staff and alternate athletes in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. President Ramnath Kovind has conveyed his best wishes to the Indian contingent at the Tokyo Olympics on behalf of all the Indians. In a tweet, President Kovind said, and I quote, "An entire nation's hope and prayers are with the Indian contingent at the Tokyo Olympics. I convey best wishes to all on behalf of all the Indians. I am confident that you all will excel, win laurels and make our country proud," unquote. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also extended his best wishes to the Prime Minister of Japan, Yoshihide Suga, for Tokyo Olympics 2020. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Wishing Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and Japan the very best for Tokyo 2020 Olympics as well as Paralympics. We look forward to a season of incredible performances by the world's best sportspersons at Tokyo 2020, unquote. Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Thakur, joined by eminent sports personalities including Olympic bronze medalist Karnam Malleswari and Yogeshwar Dutt, to wish Team India the very best for Tokyo Olympics. Speaking on the occasion, Sports Minister Anurag Thakur said that the centre have provided end-to-end support and full vaccination to the athletes, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself have talked to many athletes and encouraged them to bring medal for the country. After event, Union Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Thakur met with the young players who wish to represent India in future Olympics and also boosted their morale. Meanwhile, debutant Praveen Jadhav finished ahead of the experienced Atanu Das and Tarundeep Rai as India managed 9th place finishes in both the men's team and mixed team rankings of the game's archery competition. Algerian judoka Fethi Nourine has withdrawn from the Tokyo Olympics before competing after the draw set him on course for a possible matchup against Israeli opponent. Nourine was set to face Sudanese judoka Mohammad Abdul Rasool on Monday for his first bout. Bollywood actor Kartik Aaryan is all set to star in RSVP and Baveja Studios' production Captain India, which will be directed by ace filmmaker Hansal Mehta, known for his hit web series Scam 1992. Actor Tiger Shroff is gearing up for his upcoming Heropanti 2, a sequel to his 2014 debut film Heropanti, the actor shared on his Instagram. Keeping fans on their toes after announcing the sequel to the hit film Khuda Hafiz, makers have disclosed that the filming of the much-awaited project has officially begun. Singer-songwriter Arlo Parks and Celeste, rapper Gets and past winner Wolf Alice are among the 12 acts in the running for this year's Mercury Prize, organizers of the British Music Award announced on Thursday. First handed out to rockers Primal Scream in 1992, the annual £25,000 prize shortlisted 12 albums released by British and Irish acts in the United Kingdom in the past year. In the running for Album of the Year are Park's debut Collapsed in Sunbeams composer Hannah Peel's Full Wave and Promises electronic music artist Floating Point's collaboration with Pharrell Sanders and the London Symphony Orchestra. Pop star Taylor Swift has pulled out of the recent re-recording of a 2008 So For More album Fearless from the running at Grammys and CMA Awards. Her album Evermore will be considered for nomination. DC has found its latest superhero in the Heights. Star Leslie Grace has been cast as Barbara Gordon in Batgirl, the upcoming HBO Max superhero film. Hollywood star Sean Penn has refused to return to work on Star's Watergate series Gaslit until all cast and crew on the production have had the COVID-19 vaccines. The new trailer for Tune was released online on Thursday, directed by Denis Villeneuve. The film stars Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson. That's all for now. We will be back again tomorrow. Meanwhile, please take good care of yourselves and get yourself vaccinated on time and keep cheering for Team India at Tokyo Olympics. Namaskar.